Hi, and welcome to the Prompted Mind podcast. This is my little corner on the internet where I talk about all things AI. And today I would like to discuss the countdown for ChatGPT-5 and why it keeps us techies awake at night. Because tech insiders are buzzing. The question that we all have is, will ChatGPT-5 still come out this summer? July is supposed to be the month for the liftoff of one of the most advanced AI models in history. But OpenAI forces us to hold our horses. Even though Sam Altman stated last month that the update probably is coming this summer. But in the meantime, we keep hitting refresh on the X and we are totally ready for the upgrade to slide into our sidebar. Because the new OpenAI model promises to be a game changer. And why is that so interesting? Well, imagine it like this. If you could say like, hey AI, run my life and do it well. It's almost like you could clone yourself, but this clone never gets tired, never forgets anything, and can work 24/7 on your behalf. That is the promise of ChatGPT-5, and the update of AI's latest model is closer than we think. Because behind closed doors in Silicon Valley and in Fortune 500 boardrooms and in the minds of the most successful tech entrepreneurs of our time, the future of AI is being shaped. And life as we know it will change drastically. So, here's what's on the rumor radar. With ChatGPT-5, we are leaping into something entirely different. We are talking about an AI that matches or exceeds expert-level performance on many benchmarks. Assisting, reasoning, solving, thinking ahead. It's starting to understand your prompts and the reason why you are asking a certain question. And why is this so powerful? Well, this is where the real AI shift begins, because we are inviting AI to initiate. And that is where the agentic AI comes to life. It does not wait for your next command. Early demos show that GPT-5 can invoke sub-agents and also tools on its own. This was in a private preview reported by Business Insider. Well, final autonomy level will depend on launch configuration, but still, it becomes more agentic, more context-aware, and capable of performing tasks end-to-end, states your GPT.ai. Most people still see AI as a supercharged assistant. Great for writing emails, answering questions, summarizing PDFs. It's like a clever intern, efficient, but waiting for instructions. But what's unfolding now is something much bigger, and we are witnessing the shift from chatbot to agent. And agentic AI doesn't just respond, it acts, it plans, it decides, it adapts. Think of it not as an intern, but an executive assistant who anticipates what's needed, makes decisions on your behalf, and gets things done without being micromanaged. So what makes it so powerful? Well, it can operate with minimal input, reason through complex problems, change course when needed, and interact with tools, APIs, and real-world systems. So this leap is what makes GPT-5 so significant. It senses what you need even before you do. And it does not need your perfect prompt. That's the real evolution. AI that understands the goal, finds the path, and walks it. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds amazing, but I'm not tech savvy. How is this supposed to work for someone like me? Well, for non-technical users, this update is a profound leap because it means that they no longer need to understand the how of a task. For example, how to use specific software, API, or data analysis tools, but instead, you only need to articulate the what. What is your desired goal? You don't need to adapt to their way of thinking. The AI adapts to yours. You see, most people are still thinking of AI as a fancy search engine, but the early adopters are already living in the future. They are not working harder, they are working exponentially smarter. Because we are standing on the brink of a monumental shift. A digital revolution that redefines how we live, work, and also interact with technology. Because let me ask you something. When did you last feel truly caught up with your work? Like not just surviving the day, but actually having the time to think strategically about your goals. Because most professionals today share a common frustration. They are drowning in routine tasks while the most important work, the creative, strategic, and meaningful work, gets pushed aside. It's like your talents are being wasted on work that doesn't require your unique human capabilities. Well, the good news is that AI is already changing this dynamic for those who know how to leverage it. And with GPT-5 potentially arriving soon, this transformation may accelerate beyond what we have seen with the current models. So, which digital superpowers can we unlock in GPT-5? Here are 6 features that are rumored to be in the new model and why they matter. Well, first of all, agentic intelligence. The new model will feel like a team member who starts before you even finish your sentence. You don't have to spell it out anymore. GPT-5 doesn't wait for the perfect prompt. It senses the direction and it moves. It maps, it plans, it executes. Because code that is leaked and spotted by a bleeping computer is also hinting at an operator-like tool that lets GPT call in the sub-agents to finish a task end to end. That is very interesting. Well, second is the persistent memory, because it is going to operate like someone who doesn't forget what matters to you. It remembers what you care about, your style, the way you work, the context behind your questions. You are not starting from scratch every time. It builds with you. It also means I actually get to understand how the ChatGPT memory works. So I can manage it in ways that protects my privacy, reflects my preferences, and keeps me in the driver's seat. ChatGPT already stores some cross-session memory, and OpenAI says users can view, edit, or disable this feature. And you will be able to inspect or turn off the new memory feature if you prefer a fresh start chat. Well, third, unified multimodality. Finally, we want one presence instead of 5, like no more switching tabs or dragging files between tools, but one AI that gets words, pictures, sounds, and hopefully also videos. There are rumors, but this is not yet confirmed. Tech Radar says video is possible, but OpenAI hasn't shown it publicly. And then we have number 4, the 1 million token context, aka a very difficult word that actually means that your AI can basically remember a huge amount of what you've said. It's like reading hundreds of pages of a book and still keeping track of the whole story without forgetting anything. You don't need it to remind it what happened last week. It holds the full picture of roughly 700,000 words, depending on the text, long documents, old messages, and all of your nuances. We know GPT 4.1 already supports the 1 million tokens in the API, even though it's restricted. So GPT-5 is expected to inherit that or top that long context superpower. Number 5, tool use and API integration. A fancy word for a special key that your robot needs in order to open doors to other apps and websites. The AI doesn't just suggest things, it also updates your documents and sends your emails. It can plug into your world and act. So you get to delegate. And hopefully companies will start to embrace this and develop their own plugins so that we can all order our groceries straight through the AIs. And number 6, the advanced reasoning. Think of it like a thought partner who doesn't zone out mid-conversation and start asking if you want a PDF version of it. No, this model thinks things through. It reasons, cross-references, and doesn't hallucinate every time it gets excited. So you no longer have to babysit the genius 24/7 for simpler tasks. And AI experts such as Bernard Marr say that this update is expected to greatly enhance GPT's abilities, such as analyzing, planning, and solving complex issues, rather than just generating text. And this is a big step towards more AGI-like behavior, because GPT-5 will be much better at logical reasoning, complex math, and problem solving, rather than GPT-4. But we still have to hold our horses for a little bit, because OpenAI is working hard to ensure that the model is safe and ready before public deployment. And it also says that the model will only ship once all safety checks are met, so the timelines could slip. We have to be patient, but in the meantime, I would like to suggest to not sit still, because the world of AI is moving fast. And this week, I encourage you to think about one task you do every week that drains your energy. But it doesn't really require you to use your unique genius. So can you automate that? Can you partner up with AI on that? And can you see what happens then when you, for example, use the super prompts I spoke of in the previous episode? Success with that Happy prompting, and we'll talk soon on the next episode.